This is a Star News Brief. I'm Samuel Otieno. Fresh hurdles have rocked peace talks between President William Ruto and Azimio boss Raila Odinga as both sides traded barbs on the form and agenda for dialogue. While the news on Saturday that the two politicians had clandestinely met gave hopes that some agreement was in the offing, political lightning rods on both sides sparked off a storm on Sunday on what is to be discussed. A statement issued by National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah on Saturday, announcing the tentative agreement between Ruto and Raila on the form and agenda of the talks seemed to muddy the waters for the process even before it started. The TAS statement said the two warring coalitions had agreed to commit to a mediation process to be midwifed by former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo and that each side would appoint 5 members. Get a copy of the Star by subscribing to our e-paper for only 40 shillings through www.mgazzetti.com. The court has slashed to 8 years the sentence of a man who had been jailed for 15 years for eloping and living with a minor after he appealed. In his appeal, he argued the victim looked like an adult and she was the one who pursued him. The High Court has said although the argument by Nicholas Odhiambo Onyango does not absolve him from blame, it helped to lessen his punishment. The man was jailed in 2021 for the offense of defilement, or the alternate charge of indecent act with a minor. President William Ruto's administration has proposed tough laws to counter the proliferation of illicit cash and funding for terrorism activities. Despite raising the threshold for reporting large cash transactions to 2 million shillings, Kenya Kwanza has proposed a tough regime for people who may be implicated in money laundering and terrorism financing crimes. The measures have been spelled out in the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorism Financing Laws Amendment Bill 2023, sponsored by Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah. The proposed law has been approved by Cabinet and is now before MPs. Interviews for Director of Public Prosecutions kick off on Tuesday, the question in many people's minds being whether the panel will settle on an old hand or one who is fresh in the field. 15 candidates have been shortlisted for the interviews that will run on Tuesday and Wednesday. The 7-member interviewing panel has COTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli, EACC CEO Twalib Mbarak, Public Service Principal Secretary Mary Kimonye, Solicitor General Shadrack Mose, Richard Onsongo, Bush Obocha and the Chairperson of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, Roslyn Odede. The 15 candidates are some notable names in the legal profession. Busia Senator Okiya Omtata and 3 other petitioners have issued a notice of appeal against the Court of Appeal's ruling that lifted orders barring the implementation of the Finance Act 2023. The appeal by Omtata, Eliud Karanja Matindi, Benson Odiwuoro Otieno and Brian Angima Oigoro will be filed at the Supreme Court. In the notice, the 4 said they were dissatisfied with the ruling of the Court of Appeal given in Nairobi on July 28, 2023. They intend to appeal to the Supreme Court against the whole decision. Get a copy of the Star by subscribing to our e-paper for only 40 shillings through www.mgazzetti.com.